And joining us right now on the phone, Neal McDonough.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
We are fantastic, and we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule for calling us up and being on the program.
My pleasure. Anything for Bender Brothers.
First off, how's things going for you? Obviously, the last 10 years has been kind of a good thing from your entrance into the Band of Brothers. You've been in 39, almost 40 things since then, and each one of them seemed to be cooler than the first one.
Yeah, I'm blessed beyond belief. It was it's an old story, but I think everyone knows it already. But the very first night I got into town doing Band of Brothers, I met my wife, and what Reve and I have accomplished together. Because when I did Band of Brothers, I was not really well known at all, and then through Band of Brothers and after Band of Brothers, it's been amazing, and I attribute that to having an awesome best friend as my wife, and now we have 3 beautiful kids and all these movies and TV shows I've been in, and I'm just, like I always say, I'm blessed beyond what I could ever imagine. Like yourself, college athletes are all the same in that, whenever we have a chance to do anything, we me being a baseball player, I try to swing for the fences every time in everything that I do, in every facet of life, and when someone pays me to do a job on a TV show or a movie or anything, I'm going to try to go ball yard every time, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why I've been so successful at what I've done especially the last 10 years. I'm relentless, working on my swing still to this day. Be my baseball swing or my softball swing or my swing in acting, or my swing as a dad or as a husband or any of those things. It's once you're a meathead jock, you're always a meathead jock till the day you go.
That's exactly right. There's a inspirational speaking part to the new Kenny Chesney song where they got these high school football coaches talking about the seniors, and the last time you're going to hear this is the last time you're going to feel this is tonight, because you're headed off to be college or whatnot. But you have to replace that feeling with getting married or having a child or something else along those lines, right. Being successful in business, and yeah, you're absolutely right. You have to always swing for the fences or you stagnate.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk about Band of Brothers. You played First Lieutenant Lynn Buck Compton. Now, we've heard from pretty much everybody else that nobody walked in with one role in mind, picked up the role, and ran with it. Is that the same story from you as well, or did you only read for Buck and then get the role and just take over from there?
No, it was, originally I came in and I'd kind of, and again, another story that's probably well known is that I've kind of, I don't want to say retired from acting, but I was like, I'd done it for several years, and I'd done a lot of cool projects, but I really wasn't making a great living at it, so I went back to Massachusetts, work with my dad at this motel that we have, and and my brothers and everyone were like, really, you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, let me try something different. I'll go back to it. Maybe I'll do some theater back home or something. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do. Then I got a phone call from a buddy of mine, said, you got to come out and audition for this thing called Band of Brothers. This is so perfectly you. I'm like, all right. So I flew back out and I read for this really small part. And Tom Hanks was in the room, and there was 15 producers and other people in the room. And I remember it. And I said, okay, so who am I reading with? And Tom Hanks raises his hand and says, you're going to read with me. And for about a nanosecond, I literally crapped myself. It's like, are you kidding? It's like, here's a 2-time Academy Award winner. If he's reading with me, which for the small role, that means he's reading with hundreds of guys. So, and then within 5 seconds, he diffused every tension by a couple things that he said, and I was like, oh, this guy's like, there's no, coincidence why he is so successful in what he does. And, I gave this awesome reading, and I knew it, and he knew it, and he was like, you just crushed that, didn't you? I'm like, yeah, I do.
Oh my God.
I want you to come back later and read for Buck Compton. I'm like, all right, yeah, okay, I'll come back tomorrow and read Buck Compton. And I read the book that night, and I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea what I was getting into. And I went back the next day and read it, and and I crushed it again. And he says, great, I'll see you soon. And that soon was about 7 weeks later, and they said, okay, pilot callbacks are coming, and you're in. I'm like, and for that whole amount of time, I wasn't getting any other jobs doing anything else because I just wasn't. And I'm like, yeah, I'm up for Band of Brothers. And at the time, no one knew what the heck Band of Brothers was. And I went in and I read, and they mixed us with it was like 30 guys. And it was it was incredible. It was like combines. You know, it was also in the room like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get this thing. Look who, oh my, wow, how's the jeepers? There's no way I'm going to get this part. And then I remember I went off, I took a walk around the corner, and I said, yeah, you could just go in there and nail this thing and, you know, hit it out of the ball yard. And I went in there, and it says, okay, the first person to read, Neal McDonough and this other person. And I nailed it, and then 3 hours later, I was still sitting there. I'm like, you know, I think I did great. I'm not sure if I'm going to, and, you know, I guess I'm not going to read again. And then they said the last person to read is Neal McDonough and this other guy. And I went in there and nailed it again. And they, you know, Steven Spielberg was in the room this time with his little camcorder in your face.
Wow.
Back then it was a little cam. And, you know, and you're like, oh my gosh, you know. And I didn't get to say hi to him or anything. It was like this really tense situation. And I finished the audition. And that night I had tickets. A buddy of mine bought us 2 tickets to go see the Lakers game. And they were nosebleed seats, but for us, you know, they're like $20, $25 a ticket. And we're like, oh my gosh, it's a lot of, you know, it was a lot of money back then.
Sure.
So I'm at, you know, at about 2.5 hours into this audition, like, oh my gosh, how long is this stupid thing going to take? I got to get out of here. I'm going to be late for the basketball game. And so finally, you know, I'm the last one to read, and then it's all over. I'm like, great. And, you know, and all the guys were stayed after and just kind of hanging out and chatting with each other. And I sprinted to my car, cruised back, picked up my buddy Brian, and, you know, flew to the Staples Center. And as we got there, in our wonderful nosebleed seats on the huge jumbotron, there's Steven Spielberg sitting on the floor. I'm like, how the heck did he get here before I did?
Huh.
You know, and I said, and I lean over to Brian. I said, I got to go down and say hi to him. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, I got to go down on the floor and say hi to Steven because I didn't get to say hi to him today. Because you're not going to get on the floor. You know, how do you think you're going to do it? I'm like, just trust me. I'm going to figure out a way to do it. I have to say hi to Steven Spielberg, and that'll solidify the deal for me, I think.
Oh my God.
And I finagled my way all the way down past the security and finally got down, you know, to the entrance of the floor, and there was this massive bodyguards everywhere. So I get to the corner of the floor, and there's this big, huge bodyguard. I'm like, hi, and he's like, what can I do for him? I'm like, I want to see Steven Spielberg. He goes, oh, dude, I know you. I saw you in, I forget what stupid episode of some dumb show I was in. Because you were really good. It was, you know, I'm like, hey, thanks, man. I'm like, yeah, I want to say hi to Steven. He goes, yeah, hold on. It's about 15 seconds left in the halftime. And, you know, when the halftime buzzer rings, I'll let you go on. 15, and I'm sitting there, and I turn around my buddy Brian, and I'm like, give him a thumbs up, and he's like, you got to be shitting me. There's no way. You know, I can see it all over his face. The buzzer rings, and the guy goes, all right, go ahead, Neal. Go on out there. I'm like, okay. And literally in the center of the floor, the center of the Staples Center, the packed place, is Steven Spielberg, Jeffrey Katzenberg, David Geffen, Mike Ovitz, Michael Eisner, and all their wives, and that's it. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my goodness, like I can do this. And I walk across, I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go say hi to Steven Spielberg. So I walk across the floor, and from about 30 feet away, he turns and he sees me, and he has this huge shit-eating grin on his face, like, how the hell did this kid get out there? This guy's got some balls. I walked up to him and said, I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to audition for you today, but I didn't get a chance to say hello. I'm Neal McDonough. And he goes, oh, I know who you are. I'm like, thanks, enjoy your evening. Good night, everybody. I'll see you later. And I walked off, and Brian was still standing there laughing his face off. It was like one of those moments. I got back to him. We went to the stand, got ourselves ice cold beer, went back up to our cheap seats, and just enjoyed the night. It was awesome. And then from then, it was still another month until we found out if we got the part or not. But I'd heard inklings, from the next day that I was going to get the part, but I was like, I'm not sure. And then finally, and sure enough, I got cast as Buck Compton, and that's all she wrote. That's all she wrote.